Massive thanks to the mad lads and ladies supporting the channel. The doggos say thanks. Hey everyone, it's time for some more Monster Hunter, and today we're finally gonna put the single player quest to an end. Now don't get me wrong, there's going to be single player quests. Or not single player quests, but secret single player quests that we'll get to eventually, but we're gonna have to make some armor sets to do that, and it's probably gonna be the very last thing we do before we move on to the next game. I'm thinking about playing Monster Hunter I, but after doing a little bit of research, it seems like they don't have it fully ported properly yet. There might be some texture issues, but we'll certainly have to see. But today what we're going to do is we are going to be fighting the Monoblos. So when it comes to the Monoblos, it's basically just like Diablos. Don't get me wrong, Monoblos is very unique, especially with its role as the basically the final boss of single player. However, I will say that I can definitely understand people really want the Monoblos to be brought back, and I would say it's really tragic that he hasn't been brought back yet. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go ahead and buff up, and I'm also going to use a Psycho Serum, because unfortunately, Monoblos is, at least was a little bit difficult to find in Monster Hunter Frontier, so in order to avoid an extremely long and tedious, look for him, I just want to see where he spawns. It looks like he is starting out in Area 10, so I'm going to try to rush over there and go ahead and paintball him. I believe whenever Monoblos is in the area, he will stay under the ground. However, after he notices you, he's obviously going to pop up like a Diablos, and that's going to be whenever I'll be able to actually paintball him. Kind of like the Diablos, he does charge around a lot. I guess also like the Rathian as well, but... Oh, and also I guess with this being a story mission, there is a cutscene that forces him to stay here, so I guess the Psycho Serum wasn't really needed. But the difference between the Monoblos and Diablos is, first of all, he has this really magnificent Stachiosaurus crest, and also he has that unicorn horn on his nose. Also, unlike the Diablos, has, like, teeth and a really vicious-looking face and mouth and everything else, Monoblos just has a beak. He's a lot more bird-like than Diablos is. So I think he's quite funny. Now that I think about it, I do think it is pretty funny that Diablos... Oh, that actually might be the other secret monster. There's Gravios, Kezu, and Diablos. I believe those are the three secret monsters at the end of the game. At the end of the single-player game, whenever you craft the right armor parts. I'm gonna have to do some research on him, though, to kind of get all that figured out. But yeah, when it comes to the Monoblos, the thing you gotta worry about is him burrowing under the ground. Well, first of all, hitting you with that crazy, scary-looking tail, but also burrowing under the ground and then jumping out at you. Obviously, I did want to go ahead and pretty much get him knocked out of the way with the paintball, so I don't have to worry about losing him. But another thing about a paintball monster is that when it barrels, it's actually really useful for tracking exactly where they are on the ground if they travel under the ground a lot. Something I am a little concerned about is the Genprey aren't dying as quickly as I'm used to them dying in low ranks. So I am slightly worried that they may be the high rank version of the Genprey, but as long as they don't infinitely respawn, I should be pretty okay. If they do infinitely respawn, though, that's going to be a huge, huge problem. Oh my goodness gracious, Lava Mighty. Yeah, because of that. Generally, whenever they're high rank, they're a lot more accurate with their leaps, and they're a bit harder to, actually kill. And of course, they're also more aggressive in general. Big thing though, definitely block those hip checks. Hip checks never good. Although I am surprised that one didn't actually hit me. Another thing is, whenever you are really close to Monoblos, you gotta be careful not to actually get hit by the instant charge. I would say that move itself is pretty unfair, but a lot of people do get hit with it. Although, yeah, like I said... Oh, he's actually leaving the area. So it looks like he's going back to the previous area, so I'm going to go ahead and run over there to see if I can fight him. Now, generally I'm used to Monoblos being in Area 7 or Area 2, but I'm starting to wonder if he will be popping up in the Area 7 or Area 2 in the single-player quest. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's always in the single-player quest, but I'm on off the Frontier knowledge, because that was really the first time I fought him in general. Hopefully, though, he doesn't, burrow under me and, I don't know, take off, a quarter of my health with one of his burrowing attacks. Because if you look at the map, he is, right beneath me. And, if he does leap up out of the ground, he could do a pretty good chunk of damage. Yeah, there he is, right there. So, obviously, you want to avoid the instant charges. I'm actually really surprised that I'm not doing a lot of damage to him, but I'm surprised I'm bouncing as much as I am. Because that does tell me his legs are pretty armored, so Hopefully I can... Oh yeah, there's that instant charge I was talking about. Hopefully I can avoid, you know, failing too hard. Maybe if I actually get under his legs, like slightly behind him. Oh yeah, and you also gotta be really careful of that move right there, but... I'm thinking if I can get slightly underneath it, like where his belly is, I'll probably have a lot more luck. Or maybe it's his... I can't tell if his... If either my weapon is bouncing normally, or if, like, the back of his legs are fine, but, like, the thigh areas where that plating is, that's, like, super armored. Or, not super armored. I am wording bad because I can't really hear myself speak, and sometimes it makes me fumble over my words, but... Yeah, they're, you know, super armored is what I was trying to say. Alright, looks like he's enraged now. So when it comes to, you know, someone like Rathalos or Rathian, obviously whenever they're enraged, they have the flames around their mouth. But when it comes to Monoblos and Diablos, at least in Gen 1, his crest, well, not for Diablos, that part doesn't really apply, but his crest gets blood red. You can't use Sonic Bombs to get him out of the ground because it just doesn't work. And also, he has this black smoke around his mouth. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to be. Maybe it's like an evolutionary thing to indicate, oh, well, in the past he had some sort of ancestry with Rathalos and Rathian, so he still has that capability of producing smoke at least, or maybe it's just an artistic visual thing. That's at least my best guess, because I know in the newer games, it's meant to be like steam because their body heat raises to a crazy proportionate degree. Also, something that, I don't know if this applies to high rank or not. Oh. Also, I can't tell if he actually has the same roar as Diablos. Oh, man. But something he will do is he will hit you with that roar stun and then do quite a significant amount of damage if he manages to hit you with one of his attacks. I'm actually surprised at how little damage he's done because, like I said before, I'm only wearing a low-rank Rathalos set of armor, so I'm really surprised that he's not doing as much damage as I think he should be doing because, if anything, like, anybody who's playing the single-player missions, they can, like, even if you don't have access to multiplayer, you can get this armor set before the Monoblos. You get it, like, 2 ranks before. Okay, that's just cheeky on this part. Alright, he got his little stun attack. I'll give him a little stun attack. Ooh, alright, so the chest is the armored part. I want to try to hit the legs, I guess? I'm not 100% sure, but... Yeah, like I was saying, the only thing I can think of is I do have the Power Charm and Armor Charm. I'm not really sure if you're able to access those in single player, but I don't think there's like a huge significant damage and defense increase. Maybe about 5%. I think it's with the Talons it's 2.5%, and then with the Charms it's 5%, but either way, I don't think it's significant enough to where it's not just a little bit, I don't know, I guess odd that he's not doing as much damage to me as I think he should be doing. But honestly, I'm not going to complain. I have done a single player for so long in this game, I am just ready to get it done and over with. Obviously, got a few secret missions, but I am just ready to get it done and over with. What I am going to do is try to dodge out of the way here. Yep, just like that. I'm going to see if I can bait out an attack, and let me actually see. Oh, no. Alright, so I was trying to flash bomb him, but it does look like, unfortunately, the flash bomb didn't work because he was burrowing on the ground. But I will see if I can flash bomb him while he's actually, whatchamacallit? He's actually, like, in the ground. So if I can just time it right. Oh, no, it doesn't look like flash bombs work on him. Either that or I did it at a bad time. Either way, not too worried about it. I just gotta try to stay away from the walls and bait out his attacks as much as I can, or try to chase him to the next area. I was able to get off a sharpening, so that'll definitely help me out a lot. And I'm gonna go ahead and do another safety paintball, because I can't remember if they last 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But I'm gonna say just to be safe, it's 5 minutes, and, well, like I said, play it safe. Although, with him moving off that way, I'm not exactly sure what he's trying to do. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to beat up these Apsaros to just get them out of the way. Oh my goodness gracious almighty. Yeah, he was just baiting me. Yeah, he was just baiting me. And then obviously he's got the instant charge, he's trying to be a little cheap here. But, that's okay. I got the paintball off on him, and honestly, as long as this other Apsaros doesn't cause me any trouble, I'm not too worried about it. Oh yeah, no, they're definitely choosing violence, so I'm gonna have to deal with them. I am definitely gonna have to deal with them. Because if I don't, obviously, you know, they're gonna get in the way and get me killed. So I'm just gonna go ahead and run over this way, and then while he's doing that, I can go ahead and finish this one off. Alright, looks like he is enraged again. So again, when it comes to him being enraged, something I do want to stress is that with Monoblos and Diablos, you really have to be careful about those roars. If you got a blocking weapon, make sure you block, because if you don't, they're going to roar. That's going to stun like you enough that they can actually get a free hit in. So, also, obviously, the charges are much faster, and of course, they're a lot more aggressive with the burrowing, but with these Apsaros getting in the way, it does look like they infinitely respawn, so they are definitely going to be a problem. And that is quite tragic, because that means I'm going to get stunned like that, and then hit like that. And that is why I always beat up the Apsaros, because if I don't, stuff like that can, and a lot of times will happen, just because of how absolutely redonkulously aggressive the Apsaros are. I cannot state my disdain of these Apsaros enough. And honestly, out of spite, I'm probably just going to go ahead and beat them up, because I do not like these guys. Since it did spend that time dealing with the Apsaros, though, it does look like... Okay, so I thought they actually did infinitely respawn, but it does look like they don't infinitely respawn. What I'm going to do is something I actually forgot to do from the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and use my Mega Nutrients, and then I'm going to pop another... probably life powder. That'll probably get me close to max, or yeah, I think that's like right at max. Just before, just a few HP short. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that, and then see if I can get back over here to the Monoblos. Obviously, of course, I'm gonna have to be careful to not let him surprise me, and now, because of that, I can try to get a little bit of damage in. Of course, you do need to be careful. Just make sure you don't follow a linear path. Obviously, you can also pop out like at the same spot without moving, but if you can get a little bit of distance, that's advisable. And then whenever you do get a little bit of distance, just try to follow like, not a linear path, like a horizontal path. So basically, you're like strafing him, almost. Because if you can do that, it'll 9 times out of 10 avoid getting hit by his attack where he like rolls over the ground. Alright, so now that he's burned under the ground, like I said before, he is enraged, so he's going to be a lot faster, but just like that, try to strafe around him, and then if you can do that, you should be pretty okay. I did think he was going to do a tail attack, and because of that, I thought I was safe to kind of approach him, but unfortunately, he didn't do a tail attack like I thought. Either way, it's not too bad. Looks like the place to really hit him is his legs here. Yeah, I'm just going to try to block that right there. But yeah, whenever you fight him, it does look like you want to avoid hitting like the outside of his thighs and his chest area, because if you do that, that's, you know, going to bounce off. Also with his frill, unless you have like a hammer or some sort of blunt weapon, but if you're actually like fighting him properly, it's a good idea in general to try to hit his underbelly and his legs, like the lower legs, not the thighs, but the calves, because that does seem to be where I'm bouncing the least. Also, something they do is if they do that spin attack a lot, and you can find like a safe place between their legs. I only do this with a sword and shield because it works for me, but if you kind of just stay between their legs, I mean, the hitbox is a little bit weird for him, because usually for most monsters it doesn't really work like that, but if you can kind of stay between his legs right here and just kind of do a little attack that keeps you rooted in place, or just kind of go back and forth with his legs and try to avoid getting hit too much, then what you can do is you can just kind of keep getting a little, just chip away at his health here. Like, not only does it chip away at his health, but also it'll allow you to knock him over a lot more consistently. And that's pretty much what I did with Plesioth. For those of you fighting Plesioth, and I guess Monoblos, just kind of stay between his legs right here and do this back and forth if you got a sword and shield. The biggest thing is going to be bouncing. You're going to need a weapon with high sharpness, especially in Gen 1 where they don't really, like Gen 1 and Gen 2 where they don't really have stun damage. The bigger the monster is, generally the better, but generally for like these monsters that are shaped like Rathalos, less so for the Cuckoo just because of how tiny he is, but the Monoblos, the Plesioth, the Rathian, the Rathalos, the Diablos, the Gravios, probably not the Psarios because I think he's a bit too small too, but if they do the spin attack, oh, and the Kezi. If they do a spin attack a lot, you can get like between their legs and hit them on their calves. Just kind of get between their calves and just boop, 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 and just like fall along with whenever they do a spin attack. Because if you can do that, then generally you can get some decent damage in on them. And that'll definitely help quite a lot. Oh man, listen to that music change. I've done it. I've actually beat the Monoblos. Tomorrow, whenever I do my next video, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing. I'll probably just do see if I can do a little bit of grinding or something. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I'm a little excited. The music's a little bit more upbeat. I personally like the other one more, the other track, because it feels a lot more homey. But this one, it's a lot more upbeat. Tomorrow, we'll just go ahead and talk with the village chief, and I'm not sure. We'll see what we can do. That said, thank everybody so much for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like on it, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and leave a comment down below if you're finally excited to be done with the campaign of the very first Monster Hunter game. I only have, like, 20 more games to go. My god. Yeah, that said, if you liked the video, leave a like on it. Comment down below on... Well, I already did all that. Subscribe. I already did all that. If you want to join the community of other people who play Monster Hunter and play Monster Hunter with me as I go back to the multiplayer missions, check out my Discord, linked in the description below. And if you want to support the future of the channel, check out my Patreon, linked in the description below as well. Or become a member here on YouTube. You can do so for only $1 a month, and here in about 5 or 6 months, whenever I actually move and I can start doing the videos, you know, more full-time and put time into editing them, I'll be able to give patrons and members a week of early access to videos. Although everyone will get access to them, nothing's going to be locked behind it. But yeah, just something as a little thank you to them for financially supporting the channel. That's it. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye now.